Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eeks and Geeks.
Hello.
I am
Hi.
Siberia.
I'm Kirsten.
I was politely waiting for you. You can't do the same thing.
You both went, I'm going to go last.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm
And
Pumpkin.
one day, we'll figure this out.
See? Y'all already know who we are.
Y'all already know who I am. Oh.
Yeah, that's our new intro. Just screw the names. Y'all already know
Y'all already
who we
know
are.
who we are. We're the geeks. Get used to it. We are coming back with our found footage block of movies, and I'm so excited about this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie that I've liked for a long time, and I'm interested to hear what everyone else thought of it. We watched Hell House LLC this week.
Mm-hmm.
And- But before we get into that, has anyone watched anything this week? I know I watched The Last of Us, and that's about it.
Yeah, I just watched The Last of Us.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
started
watched that.
Parasite, but I didn't finish it, so I need to go back and finish the rest of it.
How?
The movie?
Yeah.
You didn't finish it?
Let me explain something. I have this very weird thing where, like, when a character is like getting caught in a lie, I want to like crawl out of my own bones. Like
Well, that's that whole movie, so.
I know, like the moment I got to it's not a spoiler, but I got to the part where like the rich dad husband starts to like figure it out and is like telling his wife like these people are not who they say they are. I was like, I can't watch this right now. I'm doing shit.
I love that movie so much, but I strongly disagree that it's a horror, and I don't know why it's always put in horror categories because I don't feel like it is.
I think it's a thriller.
Okay. I'll have to see.
Loose thriller.
I've heard it just has like some scenes that are like a little creepy,
Oh,
but
yeah,
nothing like scary happens.
It gets a little tense.
It gets dicey for sure.
Okay.
Well, but I would argue the stairs scene is scary.
Yeah, but then when you know what's going on, it's like
I guess I was a little
you were a little spooked.
I was also when he like kisses this girl who's a sophomore in high school, I was like, I can't watch this.
Oh yeah, that is gross. All I've watched is Marcel the Shell with shoes on, but that's not a horror.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I watched Pearl.
Oh,
what did you think?
Yeah, did you say that if you liked it?
I loved it. I like movies. I won't spoil anything that just like take a turn.
Yeah.
And so like when this took a turn, I was like, wow, I'm in the ride.
Yeah. And her, you were saying in the group chat, like that scene at the end of her just smiling into the camera.
Scene. How could I have not have?
It's so long. I love it. It's absolutely unhinged.
I sat and watched it.
Yeah, like through the credits just rolling, and she's just.
I watched it because it's so good.
Well, I just know she acts the house down in everything she does.
Oh, she does.
Like,
for sure.
Yeah. And I love like the Wizard of Oz-ness of it all.
I do too.
Very interesting.
I need to watch it. I need to watch that and X, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still haven't seen X, so I gotta watch that.
Guys.
I know.
Sorry. But yeah, I think all of us but Kirsten have watched The Last of Us. That was a gag.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch
That's
it
all
tomorrow.
I'm gonna say.
It was
so good.
It got scarier than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
I didn't think they would actually try to make it scary. I thought it would be more like Walking Dead. So that like one scene when you start to, I was like,
yeah, I was hooting and hollering. I was like,
oh, so good. And if you play the game, like it is like shot for shot.
Yeah. All of the comparison videos on TikTok I'm living for. Like I feel like the second that episode aired, I'm now on The Last of Us TikTok, and that's just
it's everywhere.
Like every single video.
It's all over my Twitter too, just all this fan art and like little.
Which, not complaining.
No, love it. So good.
And I feel like we deserve this. Like if any of you were fans of The Walking Dead, I was, you know, to a certain point. So I feel like we, as zombie or like zombie enjoyers. I feel like we deserve like just a win in the zombie category.
And this is so far a win.
I couldn't get into The Walking Dead because I just didn't really like the characters that much. And I was like, I don't care what happens to you.
I
but
like some of the characters so much.
Last of Us, like Joel has my whole heart. I love Joel so much. Like I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I have to know what happens to him. But like Walking Dead Rick, I was like, you're like sweaty and you're kind of mean to people. And
Say more. Say more. You're so right.
See, I was a Glenn apologist.
Oh,
I
did like Glenn, yeah.
I love Glenn.
But there wasn't enough of him to keep me watching.
It's almost like we should do a zombies category for our movie.
It's almost like you've been trying to get that to be the category for
because I
6
just want to watch Train to Busan so bad.
I still haven't seen that.
I'm gonna pick that. I hope I'm first on that one. I'm gonna pick it.
I literally swear to God, I'll be at Colorado, like at your door, like looking like Pearl, like.
Oh no! You've come to Colorado
don't come
just
all the
for
way
that.
over here.
I have one that I hope nobody picks for that.
Is it the Disney Channel original movie Zombies?
Yeah, that's it.
Like, how'd you guess?
It's Zombie Prom.
No, okay. I already know what you're gonna pick because you want what I want.
I think I know what it is.
We both want the same movie.
We'll see who gets to it first. And then I guess if you get that one, I'll get the second one.
Hey, I don't mind. They're both really good.
All right. Are we ready to get into our Hell House discussion?
Yeah. Do you have...
All right. Some final thoughts. I'm going to go in order of the screen I see before me. So, Lauren, what are your final thoughts?
I have seen this movie before, maybe once or twice. I've always enjoyed it. I will say upon this rewatch, I find the whole middle section to be the most effective part of the movie. Like the scares in it are so good and so subtle in that way that like found footage, when it's done well, it's just like, ooh, it's almost nothing, but it's like so scary. So I think it's got like extremely effective scares in the middle for me. But on this rewatch, I was feeling a little bit like the end and like what is doing the haunting was a little hokey. I didn't love it. I didn't love the ending, but it's got great scares. So I'm going to give it a 6.5.
All right. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Kirsten.
That's pretty much my exact same thoughts on this. It's like that whole middle part is so good. Like I have this like fear of like looking at something, turning away and looking back, and it's like turned its head. Like it's stuff just like
it's done so well.
Yeah, and it's like every one of them is just like
so I love that, and I feel like it's so good. And then the end happens, and it's just kind of like so I give it a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Pumpkin.
For once, I totally forgot to write something down. I usually write down my final thoughts. I know. What's wrong with me? It's because I'm sick.
It's because you were with such a hot person when you were watching the movie that you just couldn't focus.
Yeah, Bella had me distracted. Yeah, so I've seen Hell House once before. I had to say, I noticed like a few things I didn't care for quite as much on the second watch. But I really, the whole time I was watching it, I couldn't help but think like, this is what House of October Built should have been.
Yeah.
It has like some really effective scares. The characters aren't like the most likable, but they're very believable. I thought the acting was pretty good. Yeah, I think the ending left a little bit to be desired. But I really liked the twist at the end. I thought that was nice. I would give it like a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
As for me, this was my, I think, second or third time, probably third time seeing this movie, and I really liked it. And then I also, like everybody else, noticed some things towards the end because it builds it up so well, and you believe. For me, what I loved about this movie is that the acting, like, it was just like, this is a group of people doing this. Like, I did not question one time that, like like I just thought that this was happening. Like it
Yeah.
was so good. Like I believe this was found footage. But then towards the end with like the interviewer and stuff, like she didn't do as well for me. And so like I feel like
Mm.
acting got worse towards the end of the movie, and that's what kind of threw it for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And seeing the physical entity of like the cloaked people makes it a
Yes.
little, it's, so you're like, oh.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. It's just like it has, I agree, it's got like the best build up, because like the whole time you're like,
Because that clown
whatever
bitch, I'm
happened,
gagged every time he
yeah,
moves.
because you're just like, what happened opening night? It's this whole build up to opening night, and then it's like, I feel like the second you see like the cloaked characters, and I feel like that whole sequence is very all over the place,
Mhm.
and then it's like the cloaked figures, and it's like, okay.
Because honestly, like in one of my notes, I was saying that like the anxiety of just like the crowd surge is scarier to me than the
Yes.
cloaked
Yeah,
figure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like that
And
shit
I
was
agree.
scary. I was like, no, no,
Yeah, the claustrophobia.
fire safety.
Yeah, at the end when that
But-
interviewer lady, like when Sarah leaves and she's like, "Ooh, do you want to go get," like she's all like making fun. I was like, "Girl, you just heard all of that and you've seen all this footage and you're like,
Yeah.
like gonna make fun of her." It's like,
People
okay.
So overall-
died. Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was like an actual tragedy. Like people died. It's not
So-
like a
Yeah.
Overall, I'd say that like the build up and stuff was great. The acting was great for the most
Mhm.
part, and I also give it a 7.
oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's like an average of 7.
Yeah,
something like
I
That's
think it's
good.
exactly an average of 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
look
go
at
for
us.
Oh
that.
yeah.
I do
Yeah.
have some fun facts for this movie.
Give it to us.
Ooh.
After the scare where Paul like comes and throws up after the strobe light, that was
Uh-huh.
not staged. He actually threw up. He was actually
Oh my
just
gosh.
sick with the strobe light.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah.
Which I get. In the scenes involving the clown, 2 of the actors that were not part of the scene were the ones in the clown costume and the mask, because the mannequin that the clown was normally on wouldn't stand up.
Oh, okay.
So whenever it is that, it is an actual person in there when it's standing.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
The eye trick that Joey does in the movie is his actual eye, meaning he has it between his fingers. Also, he warns others not to try.
Ew.
I
So
assumed
gross.
that was real because I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like everyone knew like a kid in middle school that was always like fucking with their eyeball. And like, "Stop. You're gonna hurt
Yeah.
yourself, actually."
And then during the interview, when Diane asks her where she's like been for 15 days, presumably being disappeared, she says that she's in a better place, which is referring to her being dead before the plot twist that she's dead.
I
She's in a
didn't
better
catch
place now, is what
that.
she says. And then this is my favorite fact of the whole thing. The piano theme that he plays is just a slowed down version of the Meow Mix theme song.
That's hilarious.
Now I want to rewatch it just
I
to
know.
listen to it.
Same.
That's so
Yeah,
stupid.
I would have to re-listen to it, but that is funny.
It's so funny. I saw that and I was like, work. All right, now that we've done our final thoughts, shall we get into the plot?
Into the book.
Now, I want to do a disclaimer on this. I had to write this whole thing myself because Wikipedia absolutely screwed the shit out of me. So if I missed something, sorry.
You said that it said
It
what
took
for
the
how much of
whole
the movie?
entire, like, from when the clown starts moving to when it's like opening night, like all of the shit happening down
It
to
gone.
the 2 words, undescribable events.
You
Yeah.
can describe them.
Because
I was like, are you literally kidding?
Because I
It
read
cuts
it
to
too,
that and then it
I was
goes,
like,
and then Sarah says for Diane to go back to her hotel room. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Like, we actually skipped the whole movie. Mhm.
Yeah, so this is like I basically had to write like an essay today. So, part 1, I didn't name it because I wrote it. This film is presented as a documentary investigating a tragic, unexplained accident at a haunted house called Hell House. The company of the same name opened their last attraction in an abandoned hotel in the small town of Abaddon. On its first night open, something happened which left 15 tour goers and all but 1 staff member dead. Authorities have since only said that an unknown malfunction occurred that resulted in their deaths. There is a news broadcast with footage from a customer's perspective of the events of the opening night disaster, but it is hard to make out what is happening. The documentary crew, led by producer Diane, interviews people familiar with the case, including a journalist who broke into the hotel a few years after the incident, taking photos which fanned rumors of something supernatural behind the tragedy. The crew manages to track down the sole surviving member of the Hell House staff, Sarah Hobble, who provides them with the footage shot in the entire lead up to the tragedy. Oh my God, sorry. Discuss.
It does the one thing I love for found footage to do. There is a perfectly good reason for filming. There is no part in the movie where I'm like, put the fucking camera down.
Yep.
Because that always bugs me. This is like perfect. I mean, you've got they have like head mounted cameras and like the cameras all through the haunted house and everything to like capture people's reactions and like security and whatever. So I love that. That always makes me super happy.
I just love a movie that opens up with the ending scene in a different context than what you need to understand it. Like we saw it from the customer's perspective and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, that's why she's running. And that's why that happened. And that's what's like at the end of the movie.
I like how it's presented, like this like kind of documentary type thing. They've got like professional interviews and like they're asking them like, what do you think happened? I don't know what happened. Like nobody knows what happened, and then you're watching it like, ooh, what happened? Are we gonna find out?
You're like, wait, what did happen? I like that style too, when it's like it's not just like their footage, it's sort of an amalgamation of like people compiling footage to make the whole story make sense. And I like how much setup, it's not even setup, just like all of their footage of them like driving there and stuff. I just like when there's that setup of like them just kind of existing and it just feels very real. And there's a lot of spots in the movie where like where the clip starts feels like really realistic. Like you can feel that they've already been having a conversation and someone's like, "Ooh, start recording." And then it's like they just carry on whatever they were saying. And there's a lot of moments like that I really appreciated.
Which I feel like is hard to achieve in a found footage.
Yes.
It's hard to write like this kind of dialogue.
Yeah.
I will say though, watching like because of course I like watched this forever ago, only one time, rewatching it, that the customers video, I was like, this haunted house sucks. I would want my money back. It's not scary.
It's so cheesy. Like it's so, and like nothing moves. There's 3 actors.
Yeah. There's just random LED light strips just on the wall.
I was thinking that when I was watching it because I used to be a haunt actor. I'm like, there's only 3 actors and like the stuff nothing's moving. It's just you're just kind of going through this haunted house and it's like, okay.
The guy in the kitchen should have had like a fake knife pretending he's gonna get you. The guy, like the bartender, like they're not lunging, also, trying to like grab people.
I was like,
and don't have the girl like tied up in the basement. Like have her scaring people. Have her like having like a bartender. I thought that would have been such a cool idea. And the guy in the kitchen like chasing you around with a knife.
No, they just stand there and there's just like cobwebs and you're just like, this isn't scary. What the fuck? I want my money back.
I also made a note that the fashion is just so dated when you're like seeing the customers in line. Like I was like, oh my fucking God. This is the 2000s. All right.
Sure is.
But yeah, I think that the one of the scariest scenes is just everybody trying to rush back up that cramped staircase. It's like my worst nightmare. Just getting like trampled in like a little I hate
something like impending on the other side, so you're like, we have to go.
You don't even know what it is. You're just terrified. Ugh.
I literally have a note that says this is an actual nightmare scenario, being stuck in a haunted house with a huge crowd trying to get out. Like that is
and like you said, Pumpkin, like not knowing, like imagine being the back of the person line and all you see is just screaming people coming at you.
Screaming, trying to get out. You're like, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that draws the line between like, is this part of the haunted house or should I actually be scared right now?
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite tropes I don't know if it's trope, but I love that, like, when movies do that, like, is this a haunted house or is scary stuff actually happening?
Or when something happens on stage and you're like, was that supposed to happen?
Is this part
or is he actually dead?
Yeah.
When they were like, it was a severe malfunction, I said, a malfunction of literally what? There's nothing moving in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's barely electricity.
These fucking idiots shouldn't have been in there. That's the
What do you
malfunction.
mean? A malfunction of the brain.
Also, I love the documentary piano music. It's just so
They really went all out for that.
it feels like a real documentary.
It does.
I love that.
It really does.
And then there's that headline at the end of the news part where they're like, people are speculating if this is real or staged. And I was like, yeah, if it was real, I'd be asking if it was real or staged too.
People died though. Like,
what?
Yeah.
Well, no, they're asking if it's like not real or staged, but like it was like fault of a malfunction, or was it ghost?
Oh yeah.
Sarah's tapes start from the very beginning and document the crew's arrival at the dilapidated abandoned hotel. They slowly explore the interior of the hotel, and each new discovery makes the gang less and less sure this is a good idea. But Alex rallies them. The next day, they go to work setting up for Halloween by putting cheesy decor and unrealistic mannequins posed around the hotel. The 3 actors for the haunted house arrive the next day and discuss what each of them will be doing with the crew. Each of the members of the crew begin to experience unexplainable events all around the hotel. The following night, the crew all wake up to a noise at the same time and brush it off as nothing. There is a black and white clown that continues to torment them throughout the days leading up to opening night. He is seen moving around the hotel on his own, but Alex, the CEO of the company, is determined to press on and put on the show.
As a like lover of haunts, I thought that this would be such a perfect place when they were going through.
Right?
At first, I was like, this has so much potential. This has so much potential because it's a hotel.
Spider
Yeah.
webs and
It was
pumpkins.
it was scarier before they put up decorations.
it was.
Like they literally could have just left it a dilapidated hotel and like had the actors just like hide in good key spots and it would have been fucking scary. Like
And also in this section, I forgot to mention this in the fun facts, but you find out in the second movie that Alex did not have permission to do this. Like he did not get no permits or anything.
Wait, did he not own the hotel?
No. Crazy girl, right?
He was like, it's free real estate.
We don't even have to rent
There's
this
no
place.
one there. We could be there.
Money. I mean, if you have the opportunity, why not
Also,
take it?
when they're walking through the kitchen and Tony was saying he's a Pinot Grigio man, I was like, Tony, you're gay. Tony, you're a Pinot Grigio girl. Gay.
You might be a queer.
You might be.
You might be a gay if.
I want my wine.
Oh,
Little sick little baby can't have a wine.
Can't have a wine.
When they go down there, Sarah says it smells like a sweater down here, and I was like,
"What do you mean?
What?"
You know, one of those old hotel.
I have a note. It says it smells
sweaters.
like a sweater, Sarah. The hotel smells like a sweater.
And that's a bad thing. Sweaters smell bad. Like, what
does that mean?
Yeah.
Girl,
And
what?
also just her face, the whole scene, she's just like looking around
Same.
like, ew.
We got a bee in here?
I like how like we're gonna stay here, and I'd be like, oh, okay.
I'd be like, y'all are.
Yeah,
find me an
I'm gonna
Airbnb.
stay down the street.
I would rather sleep in the car than sleep in that creepy fucking place. Like, what?
What's the douchebag guy's name?
Which one? Polly? Alex? Paul?
Paul?
Don't
Yeah.
remember their names. See the one
The
that
creep?
the one
Yeah.
that films them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's like, take your tit, let's your tits.
Get your butt out. Oh, it's your butt.
Yeah. He's
When-
like, oh, the scare actors are coming tomorrow, so we'll see which one I can fuck. It's
He's like literally the first instance that you like hear him, he's talking about like where things are. He's like, and then down here we're gonna have a actress, maybe she'll be topless, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Is he the one who said his nickname was Puss Slayer?
I
Ew.
think so.
I have a note about that. I said his nickname was Puss Slayer. Sure.
Doubt it.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, Jan.
And also, when they find out that the pentagram was just like already painted in the basement when they got there, and they're like, no.
They're like, free decoration. It's like,
What? It's free real estate.
Yeah, if I showed up there, I would have been like, what is the history of this place?
Yeah.
I did think, I thought it was funny when they're like going through all the stuff in the hotel and they're like, oh, there's books in here. And I forget who, maybe it's Sarah. She's like, this one's a Bible. Like in a gross out voice. I was like, yeah, ew.
I was like, and they were all Bibles, I think. I have a note that says Bibles for everyone.
Yeah, they're all Bibles. Weren't the Bibles in the basement?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so that makes
it was probably not a good thing that they
I was
were
gonna say,
there.
so it makes it even creepier because that's where the vinegar is.
I already felt this way in Houses October Built, and this isn't nearly as bad, but I could never be the lone girl in a group of just straight men.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, you're getting
insufferable.
your asshole filmed by, you know.
Oh my god.
Polly boy.
I was like, that girl's in her underwear, bruh.
Yeah.
Also, if you're just gonna hang out in your undies, maybe shut the door. Maybe shut your door.
Let her live.
Shut your
Let
door.
her live. But they say, because they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, you had the door open, you wanted me to see. And they're like, you weren't even supposed to be here. Like, they didn't think that you.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yeah.
Mm.
I could not be her.
No, couldn't be me.
I would have fought somebody.
I remember that scene though. Her boyfriend was like more upset than she was. Like she turned around and was like, ha ha ha.
I was actually kind of like, okay, you stand up for her.
Yeah, he stood up for her. He was just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I hate girl characters that are like that. Like the other scare actress, when he's like, oh, maybe you can have your tits out or whatever. She's like, stop. I was like,
that was dumb.
Girl, stand up.
I think I would have been like,
you bitch.
Maybe I don't want to take this gig.
Yeah, I would have been like, actually, I don't need the money that bad. I'm out.
Ew, and I know it's later, but even the part where like, when during the haunt when he like ties her up and like the way he's like filming like
cutting her dress and she's like hee, and I was like,
yeah, she's like, I'm so excited for tonight.
I was like,
it's like
this is not
like,
a real woman.
Yeah,
this is a woman written by a man.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, he like slowly cut it, and I was like, this is unnecessary.
Yeah, let me be chained up naked in a house full of strange men. That's a great idea.
And she's just in the basement by herself with those clown mannequins.
You
like
actually chained her to the ceiling. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
she can just put her hands up there.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible, like, what if there was a fire or something? That is such a stupid idea.
Demon cult coming out of the wall.
A little less likely, but it might happen.
You never know.
But also this section has the scene that like is my favorite acting wise when they're all drinking at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is literally just a group of people hanging out, like telling old stories. And I was like, I believe all this shit happened.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. One of them is telling a story about how like they tried to scare some like hot girls or dressed up as Disney princesses for Halloween, and the princesses just laughed at them. And I was like, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this scene cover where he's filming around by himself and the clown is at the top of the stairs and like, is that in this?
This is it. Oh. So scary.
It's the best scare in the movie, I think.
It's so good.
So good. I was watching this in my room today on my iPad, and I had my back to the door, and I was literally watching this whole middle section. I was like, I have to have my back to a wall. I'm a little bitch. I can't have my back to the door right now. That's how. Oh, that just. Yeah. It's so simple. It's so like. Just it's almost barely anything. It's just like the turn of the head. And it's like, oh,
but he's not taking it seriously yet because he thinks it's the other guy.
Somebody like
right next to him, he's like, what are you looking at? He's like right next to it. Like
he's like, what the fuck are you doing in here? You were just back there.
Yes. Oh, I would just leave. I would have
immediately left as soon as that happened. I'd be like, nope.
Because even if you don't believe in ghosts, you don't believe the mannequin's haunted, then like there's a strange person in your like hotel like fucking with you.
Someone is fucking with you, no matter what it is. Like you're definitely being fucked with. You have it on camera, so like
go to the closest holiday and
go.
Like
you
get
gotta
out of here.
Go.
There are so many times in this where I'm like, I would have left. Why is that not scaring you? I would have left.
Well, because Alex is like, it's not fucking real, guys. It's not fucking real, dude.
So annoying.
That's why I always think that in so many horror movies where like they have this skeptic, just like they're like, oh, I don't believe in ghosts. They're like hearing banging in the attic or something. And they're like, it's probably just the pipes or whatever. I'm like, even if you don't believe in ghosts, there's like a person in your attic.
Yeah.
You should be scared.
Yeah.
This section also covers the scene when they're looking at the strobe light in the camera and
Ah,
the figure starts appearing.
That's another
They're
one
like,
when
how
I would have
many
been
how
like,
many figures did we have in that room?
Oh, and he's like stuck in that spot, and like the strobe lights are still going.
yeah,
No.
that's another one that'd have been like, nope, I would have been out of there.
I was like,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Because again, there's just like a strange person.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Because even if it's not a ghost, I'd rather it be a ghost
Yeah,
than be a
Yeah,
dude.
honestly, yeah.
then like
Than
some
to be some
serial
guy.
killer. Yeah, what?
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm
Ugh.
sweating think about it.
It's a shame that it doesn't have a stronger ending because it
I
really
know.
does have
Yeah.
just like such
Good
good
scares.
scares.
Mhm.
And I like that they're not, I mean, not to say that there aren't good jump scares in movies, but like they really aren't ever jump scares.
They
It's
don't
always
jump
just
at
like,
you.
yeah, it's always just like,
It's already moved. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's already there. Like I'm seeing
Well,
it. And then like
we'll get to it,
something-
except for the girl in the bedroom.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, is that part not happened yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh no, wait.
Hate.
There's
Double
there's,
hate.
there's another bedroom scene before this when he's like
Yes,
filming.
where he's looking like
Oh.
a fish, laying like a
And-
mermaid on
Yeah,
the...
he's laying like a mermaid, and somebody just like walks into the room and stands there, and he's like, "Hey, who's that?
Yeah.
Hey
Yeah.
man, what do you like? Whatever."
He's like,
Trying
"You
to talk
good?"
to them, and they just
Yeah.
like walk away, and he's like, oh, "Okay, that was weird."
He
I was like,
that was fucking weird. It's
I
like,
was like-
yeah, it was weird.
It was
Get up
really
and
Yeah,
figure
it
out
was
who it
weird. You should go figure that out.
"Yeah, why are you calm?"
Because especially like, okay, I'm picturing what is it? It's like four or five of them. So let's imagine this is us, like in this house.
Okay.
And fun. Sleepover. But like if I'm under the impression that like I trust all of you and like we're already maybe a little spooked out or whatever, and if I trust you guys to not be like fucking with me, and then if I'm in my room and I'm like thinking that one of you are in the doorway and it's like not, it's clearly not one of you, I'm not just gonna be like, that was fucking weird. Like I know it's not any of you, so
I guess.
yeah.
Or like even if I thought one of y'all was like playing a prank on me or something, I'd still like go follow you and be like, "Hey, that's not funny. Please don't do that,"
Yeah,
or whatever. Like
yeah.
figure out who
Yeah.
it was so I
Yeah.
could talk to them.
But I would not be like, that was fucking weird.
That was weird.
Don't know who that was. I'm gonna go back to bed.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
when Paul is creeping on that scare actress, he's like, so how old are you, by the way? And I was like, somebody check Paul's hard drive, please.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
what
like
the
get
fuck?
FBI investigation.
Yeah.
Literally, if I were like other people like in the friend group, I would have been like, I think actually maybe we're gonna have to like remove you from the team.
We're in a citizen's
Oh,
arrest,
no.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Citizen's arrest.
The footage details the paranormal forces behind the deaths. Abaddon, the name of the hotel, is also the name of a very powerful demon. This is implying the hotel may previously have been the site of a cult honoring Abaddon. Paul is in bed and isn't looking and turns on the camera to someone being in the room with him, a girl. He takes a few looks at her as she gets closer. The next morning, Paul is nowhere to be found. The next night, the crew wake up to find the piano playing the melody that Paul had played earlier in the film, the Meow Mix theme song. The crew thinks it's Paul, teasing them, but finds no one in the piano room. The two of the guys head down to the basement where the clowns are found moving their heads once again. Paul is also found in the basement, but doesn't seem like himself at all. Tony is trying to leave and he is really freaked out, but Alex tells him something that gets him to stay. Discuss.
That
I don't know.
anticipation every time he lifted the blanket, I was like,
Oh,
Stop it!
oh my gosh. Even okay, because he turns it on first and you like see her sitting against the wall and he doesn't see that she's there and it's like, ew. And then he does the one duck under and then when he pops out then she's looking at him and like you can see that her eyes are all fucked up and you're just like,
It's so gross.
hate that. And then he's under the covers for so long and you're just like, no,
And it's just like the breathing, and then it's just like the
yeah.
The
She
first,
looks so
yeah,
scary.
that first, like when the lights are on and she's in the corner, I was on the couch like,
I had forgotten about that scene, and I was like,
Yeah, I did too.
And it takes him so long to look up, and I'm like,
I know.
And
He's
you're
like
sitting
just
there-
talking to the camera, and you're like,
and I'm just sitting there like, oh
But, like,
no.
God, so relatable like that. I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone would really do that, but like, you know, when you're scared and you just want to like put the covers over your head and pretend that it'll go away, and it's like he's under there for so long, and then it's like, maybe it's not.
I always do the opposite when something scares me. I just like stare at it because I'm terrified that if I take my eyes off of it, it's gonna move.
I do the
this
same
is
thing.
this is me. I'm like,
I
The
do the
one
same thing.
time I had
Ugh.
sleep paralysis and somebody was standing at the end of my bed, I literally just laid there and like stared at them until
He's
like
like, "What you gonna
finally
like fight me, fight
No.
me.
fucking dare you, bitch.
No, I-
Come on.
no.
what you gonna do? You
No,
gonna move?"
I'm the same way because those get me like the freaking weeping angels in Doctor Who. Like
Oh, so
I have
good.
to look at that short film that I sent you guys, like keep your
Uh-huh.
eye on the box. Literally my nightmare. That like one scene in the new Five Nights at Freddy's game where if you don't look at the things, they stop and you move and they walk.
Ugh.
So
I like stare it down.
I would have stared at it and I probably would have screamed for my friends or something.
Ugh.
No, same. I would literally be like back against the wall in bed, like screaming, just staring at her.
I'd be
I
like,
would not
I'd be
hide
like,
under the blanket.
"Sarah, get the fuck in here!"
Like if it's the scenario of us there, I'd be like, Pumpkin, Lauren!
In all honesty, if I was faced with like a girl, I saw her in my bedroom like that, I would probably go into fight or flight and just start swinging. Like,
Yeah.
and then I'd find out she
I'll
was a
fight this
and
ghost.
then I'd start running.
Yeah. Yeah, get a good headshot.
Yeah,
But
And it's
like,
really and
absolutely
it's really just
not.
Pumpkin in the corner with a tummy ache.
Siberia
Uh-uh.
for what?
And I go, I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
You walk out of the hall and me and Lauren are just standing there like
I do like this, how there's this added element after Paul disappears where things are still happening. And now there's at least, I mean, they should have been concerned that someone was in the house the whole time, but now they can at least be like, because Paul is like the asshole of the group. So it's like, Paul, like, is it Paul? Is Paul fucking with us? Like, is
Yeah.
that maybe what's happening? Oh, but yeah, when he goes down in the piano and it's just that mannequin sitting there, and because he had played
It's
that song,
Hector.
sitting
But then it
next to
also goes,
that made me want to like have to put my feet up. I hate that part because they're both like, "Whoa!" They like do a quick like, "What the fuck was
I
that?"
also love the name of the demon being the name of the hotel. I'm like, that's so camp. Y'all really slayed with that one. And also the place just torturing them in this way is also so camp. It's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna do this to you. Get the fuck out of here.
Love that ghosts and everything are just like kind of fuck with you, and then they just like fuck with you a little bit more. Like
It's
I
the
love
passive
just
aggression.
the idea of just being a ghost and being like, I'm just gonna.
Well, that's what I love about like
Right.
Beetlejuice. They're like, we need to
We're
scare
gonna
these
do-
people away. Let's just fucking, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
move some shit around.
It's so
Get out of my house.
Sorry if that mic knockover.
It's like the
is gonna
it's
be
like the
really
scene
loud.
in Beetlejuice where they just fucking with sheets on.
Woo!
That felt like the cult members at the end. They're just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
It's the Grinches.
although there's one part where they're go through the hotel and like a grandfather clock starts chiming and I was like, it's Vecna.
Like, you literally turned to
Origin
me and you go,
story.
it's Deknar.
It's Vecnar. Oh no, it's Vecnar.
Arnar. I
Uh.
also have a note for when the girl gets Paul, and I go, she ate Paul. Because I didn't know he was coming back. I thought she just like took him, just like.
There's also when they're like going down to the basement, they like trip a little bit and they're like, oh, we're gonna die on these steps. And I was like, well,
Funny.
funny you say that.
Also, me and Pumpkin both thought the clown in the basement had a real hand.
Yeah,
Like, when it was laying there like this, it was just like a bloody plastic hand.
Mhm.
Oh.
But I was like, Why he got a real hand?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't realize his hand had been like that the whole movie. And like, I guess because that shot, everything looked so dark and like the pink hand just stuck out. I thought like suddenly there was like a real person in it or something. And then later I was like, oh no, his hand's always been that way. Never mind. I'm dumb.
Ugh. And you said this section covered when they go down, they're like in the basement and all of the heads are turned looking at them.
The clowns pull a Heim and they
Nightmare.
Ugh.
That's a nightmare.
And just like his realistic freaking out of like, these heads don't turn. Like, you can't turn these mannequin heads. Like, why the fuck are they turned? Like, that's when he just like loses it.
And then Paul's just all of a sudden there.
Yeah. I did realize that was the moment I realized, oh, these heads don't turn. I'm like, that just makes it all even creepier.
And then Alex is like, but there's an explanation. There has to be an explanation.
I know almost every movie needs an Alex character, but they are literally like, it's my least.
Damn, I hate them.
Yeah.
It's fine, guys. Stop freaking out. It's gonna be okay. I'm like, no, it's
the guy
also,
who's just gaslighting the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what they say to Tony to get him to stay? Because I was like, yeah, Tony, get the fuck out of here. And then he was like, I guess I'll stay.
Yeah, he's like, which also, that was the one scene that I was like, why are we filming? He's just like sitting
I do like this shot in the field though. I was like, this is pretty.
It's a nice shot, but I was just like, why are you filming this? What's happening?
Because the audience needs it.
Oh, wait, we haven't got that part where she's like staring at the
No, that's
wall.
earlier.
Oh yeah, earlier when
Yeah.
she's like staring at the statue.
The gravestone.
Oh, the statue outside, yeah.
Tongues.
I was like,
this isn't enough to get y'all out of here.
Which was just like rewound audio. I liked that the caption said like Sarah speaking in tongues. It was like, it's just I wonder what it says forward though.
It's on IMDb, but I didn't put it in the thing. I'll look it up again.
but yeah, that part too, where she's also like when she's staring and she's like talking in tongues. Yeah.
So I wonder what like
down, flip it, and reverse it.
Yeah, like Missy Elliott core. Let's go.
She was just doing what Missy Elliott told her to.
I would because I'm not because I'm not religious, so like the devil stuff is just like whatever. But as soon as the pentagram, her staring at a statue, her talking in tongues, I'd be like,
even maybe, one mannequin just appearing in the hallway.
Maybe I do believe in demons. Let's go.
I have what she's saying put in reverse.
What is she saying?
So what she's saying is when I got to the front door, the police were arriving in reverse.
Oh, and she says that later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
interesting.
Shit. Okay.
She says that to the interview lady. She's like, when I got to the front door, the police were arriving.
Yep.
Oh shit.
That's interesting.
Foreshadowing.
I wonder why, like, what is it ever explained, like, why Sarah is like the one that gets
possessed?
I don't think so.
Any reason or explanation?
No. Well, I mean, I don't know her backstory,
she's the girl.
I don't know her backstory, but I know like a lot of like these movies, the person that's like with the most trauma are always the ones that are most susceptible to it.
Well, she is a girl, so
yeah,
true.
Likely.
I don't remember exactly what part it was, but one of the guys called somebody a fuck stick, and I just thought that was a really good.
It's so good.
I was like, he's just like, hey, fuck stick, and I was like, I'm gonna steal that.
That's a very 2000s.
I like that.
And I guess this is like kind of overarching, but just like the shots where it's just like the red doorway in the background are just so unsettling, and I love it so much. It's kind of like Paranormal Activity, where I'm like, what's gonna be in there? It's opening night, and Alex gives the worst pep talk anyone has ever heard.
Yeah.
Paul is in bed and completely not responding to anyone. The house opens and things quickly devolve into madness. We see the clusterfuck of the basement a little bit better now, and we realize that it is indeed a satanic cult haunting the hotel, and they decide to show their true colors when there was an audience present. This is what I like to call the chaos sequence. Discuss.
Yeah, I would have preferred if it was an actual like demon that was possessing.
Me too.
Like, yeah, because when the cloaks came out, I was like, oh.
Because then I'm like, has this actually been like a bunch of physical people messing with them the whole time?
Yeah, it certainly begs some questions at that point, because it's like, then is any of this paranormal? Like, is it people? I don't really know. They're certainly coming out of nowhere, so
Yeah.
Are the people even real? I don't really know.
It was a little scary though, like when they're walking in and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you get to the basement and she's screaming, "This isn't a part of it! This isn't a part of it! This isn't a part of it!" And I'm like, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
To like walk
And like,
in.
because then people do scream that in the haunted house to get
Yeah.
you to be
Yeah.
more scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the haunted experience done by 13 Stories at like the Ren Fair, and they had like a lady who was like tied to a hospital bed, like all bloody or whatever. She's screaming. She's like, "Help me, please!" And like looking you directly in the eye, screaming for help. And I was like,
You're like, actually?
"Are you good? Are you okay?"
Are you good? Do you need me to help you?
Yeah, I was like, "Is this a bit? I'm kind of worried."
It sort of makes me wish that this. When did this come out?
2015.
Yeah, I sort of wish that as part of the camera footage that was put in, I almost wish there was like cameras in the corners of rooms or something
Yes.
that they could have cut to at this part, because and like it is a very chaotic scene, so it makes sense, but it got a little bit too like
I agree.
I almost can't tell what's going on. It got just like
Oh no. Because
a
I
little all over
expected this scene to clear up all the questions we had from the first time we watched this at the beginning, but it's still just kind of like and where did they come from? What happened?
I can't really tell what's happening.
Yeah.
So I wish there had been like one semi-stagnant camera so you could like kind of see what was going
like
on.
it cut to
like the corner of the basement or
the
like
security stuff. Yeah.
And even if it was cutting in and out, we'd still be able to like see something.
Because at one point in the basement, I didn't know, like, because I didn't see a clip. It's like she's screaming, and then all of a sudden the other actor that dresses the clown runs away, and she's like, "Don't leave me!" And you're like, "What are you running from?" It's like,
the first time I watched it, I like really couldn't tell what was happening, and I kind of liked that better. I was like more scared because I was like, "What even? What?" And then the second time, I understood more of what was going on, but then I disliked it more because it made me realize that like I would rather either be so chaotic, it's just like what the fuck, instead of just kind of this in between of like you can kind of see, but also like where did they come? Like
it felt more on the side of just like sloppy than it did like intentionally.
Either show more or show less.
Because I'm guessing they came out of the pentagram in the wall.
Yeah, it doesn't.
They must have.
Yeah, I wish it was like a portal would look silly. I don't know what I wish it would have looked like. But...
I was trying to think, because like, what if the gates of hell open? I'm like, no, that would be dumb. Like,
that would look dumb. I don't know what you would do.
But then it's like if you're gonna go as far as showing the cloaked people, you have to show something of how they got there, or don't show them at all.
It'd be creepy if there was just like
to show something.
If there just like was a door there that wasn't there before or something,
or just like a black tunnel looking
something. It's like, that was not there before. What the fuck happened? Is this like the gates to hell or something?
So
just sort of rested right in that
this like huh?
I can't really tell what's going on, but like I feel like I should, but I shouldn't, but you're showing me a little, but like not enough, and I don't, just a little bit.
All right, this is the last chapter. Sarah asks for a break from filming in the present day. She tells Diane she will be in her hotel room if the team has any more questions. 2C. She also suggests the crew should break into the Abaddon to see for themselves what happened inside. Mitchell, a member of the documentary film crew, stays behind to catalog Sarah's footage. He sees something that deeply disturbs him, but it's hidden from the audience. He tries to call Diane, but cannot get through. Diane and her cameraman break in and see the aftermath of what unfolded that night. They go to the second floor where they see a room labeled 2C, the same room Sarah said she was staying in. When they enter the room, they find Sarah sitting with her back to them. Diane and her cameraman try to flee, but are attacked by Sarah and the other ghostly figures. It is revealed that what Mitchell saw while cataloging the tapes was a possessed Paul of the Hell House staff killing Sarah. She has been dead the whole time they had been speaking to her, and there were, in fact, no survivors.
I like that twist. That's a good twist.
That was a good twist.
I just wish there wasn't cloaked figures in the room with them.
Because just her being in the room was scary enough.
Because then if they had just turned around and the door had shut, like that would have been.
And like so the camera falls on the ground, you hear screaming, it ends. Like that's better.
I like that how Sarah died. It's like and you see the camera and then you just see bang, 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 and you don't know what's happening, and then she dies. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And then that's like back at the very beginning when they were saying they found someone, and it looked like the throat wound was self-inflicted, and you realize that was Paul.
He slit his throat, and you see him slide down. Oh, it's so good.
I like that part's so good. Like they had so many good elements.
They lost it with the cloaked figures.
Yeah, they're just not that scary.
Because like even Alex hanging himself in the attic was so good.
Yeah.
But then there were cloaked figures
really
up there.
Yeah, lame. It was just like every time they were on screen, I was like, lame. I hate that.
Yeah. Also, was I the only one that thought the interviewer was kind of a bad actress?
Annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, her acting she's like, wasn't very good.
2C, that's the rope, she said. To go
you don't think it could be?
I was like, okay, Dora the Explorer, like we get it. We can follow the clues.
Hey, 2C.
Do you see?
Do you see 2C? It's behind me. Where?
It's right behind me, isn't it?
She's in there, isn't she?
Right behind me, isn't she?
Womp womp.
But yeah, when she opens the door and you just see like the back of her.
And even her turning around and being like all fucked up is like
face is fucked up. Yeah, that's good.
I agree. If she turned around and the door slammed and all you heard was like scream, oh, that would have been a good ending right there.
Because I also noticed like when it switches from interview Sarah at the beginning and then you see the beginning of the footage, it's like a different person.
Yeah.
It's like you're like, whoa.
Yeah, she gets very fucked up. Yeah.
And I even think like when the movie starts and you see her in the interview, like she just looks like so like for lack of a better word, like haunted, but like traumatized. And so you wouldn't even think that like she's a ghost or something because you're just like, yeah, this woman's been through it. Like she's probably really fucked up in the head. But then you find out she's a ghost, you're like, that also explains why she looks like that. Okay.
And if our theory of like the cloaked people coming out of the pentagram, then how do they where do they come from when they're in the hotel room?
Where do they go?
Where did they
come from?
It's just like that.
Yeah.
It's just like that one. I'm sure they weren't thinking about that, but it just introduces that like element of you can start asking questions. Yeah, you just start asking questions. It's like, well, now it's kind of like unraveling because I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know how they got there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's all right. It's still good.
It gets a C.
Oh, I'd call it a movie.
I would.
A C plus.
Hey, they made a movie.
You know what? Hey, look at us.
There.
Look at us.
They did.
We watched the movie.
Made a movie. They made a movie.
They made a movie? We watched the movie.
Yeah.
And I did like the movie. Let's not get it wrong.
I like the movie too.
No, I agree. Yeah.
It's just kind of one of those. It's just like, whoa.
Like you go down the roller coaster too fast. Like you It
would have been so much better if they just cut out the cloaked figures and it was all unseen forces, because that's usually scarier than like seeing a ghost or a monster.
Unless it's a house break-in movie.
Speaking of which, you know,
who's
unseen entities in a found
so
footage.
Next week is Pumpkin's pick, so let's figure out what that is.
Yeah, we don't know what Pumpkin's pick is.
Yes, we do, you guys. We already know what's happening. We're pre-filming. We have to pre-film.
Yeah, we're filming these back to back. We know.
Oh yeah. So next week we're gonna round out this found footage genre. And no, we are not. Oh my god, we're only halfway through. I definitely.
Yeah, because we don't care whatever the fuck Lauren's gonna pick for found footage. I don't care. Yeah, mine's gonna be the last one because it's, you know, I'm just gonna stop. Anyways. Keep repeating it.
We'll have our third pick in our found footage block of movies, and that's gonna be this gal Pumpkin over here. So tell us what we're watching, Pumpkin.
Well, we can't talk about found footage movies without talking about the 1999 classic, The Blair Witch Project.
Talk about a real classic for sure.
Classic. Make sure to go watch The Blair Witch Project before tuning in.
Where can we watch it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
It's kind of only rentable everywhere.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
only rentable.
With the
What's
attitude.
that?
What the fuck?
Where did that come from?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I was
it is.
expressing my disappointment that it's not free to stream anywhere. God damn. You know what?
Okay.
No, Lauren, you don't leave. Siberia, you leave.
Yeah, go. Yeah, go.
All right, listeners. So it's just Pumpkin, Lauren.
Yeah, where can we rent Blair Witch?
Okay, so you can watch the Blair Witch Project free on Pluto TV, Tubi, Redbox, or Plex, or you can rent it from YouTube, Apple, Amazon Prime, all those streaming services. So yeah, make sure you watch the Blair Witch Project before tuning in next week.
Or you'll be canceled.
Yeah, or we will
sorry.
make you face the corner while we kill your
We have
friend.
screenshots. We have
We'll
receipts.
we'll have cloaked figures come out of the wall.
We'll chain you up naked.
Yeah.
Never mind, sorry.
I'm so excited.
It's
for
us.
tonight.
We're the cloak figures coming up your walls.
Yeah, it's us.
Woo!
Spooky.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening this week, and we'll see you guys in Massachusetts for the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.